Hello and welcome back to Would You Rather Wednesday. I'm your host, davidinark, and we're going to play a little Would You Rather, and we're going to answer the pressing questions that everyone wants to know the answers to. Okay, maybe not everyone, but, a lot of people, or some people. Anyway, we're going to answer some questions. How about, would you rather live in a treehouse or live in a floating boathouse? This says, assume that neither is a bad place to live. You'd probably just have a difficult time getting the mail. Probably so, especially in a boathouse. Although, not really. All right, so which would I rather do? Would I rather live in a treehouse or live in a floating boathouse? I've seen some really, really amazing tree houses. They're basically these mansions up off the ground, which is very, very cool. It's kind of a neat idea, and you get to live out your inner Chewbacca, which, or I guess your inner Ewok. Depends on where you float there. But speaking of floating, boathouses, I've definitely seen some amazing boathouses as well. In fact, I used to work for a guy, and we've been friends with him for years, but I used to work for him as well. I used to do some computer work for him, and he and his wife had a really, really nice houseboat, and that was very cool. I will tell you, to me, I think the issue with the houseboat is, this says a living boathouse. What's the difference between a houseboat and a boathouse? I guess maybe a boathouse is more like the actual house that a boat would, like it would cover a boat. Maybe I'm thinking backwards. So a boathouse. I think I'd rather live in a treehouse. Either way, no matter how you cut it. Although, lightning and tornadoes would be a little scary, but I'm going to go with a treehouse. There we go. I spent way too long on that one, didn't I? Okay, here we go. All right. Would you rather get caught cheating or catch your partner cheating? The little subtitle thing says, sucks for you twice. Of course, my brain wasn't even going this way. I was thinking cheating like on a test or something. I wasn't even thinking spousal or significant other or whatever. So the question, actually, I think I need to turn on a different, light. Hang on. I don't know if that's any better or not. So I can't actually see myself when I'm recording these. It's really weird. But anyway, I guess if I had to pick one or the other, I guess like it said, either one sucks. But I guess I would rather catch my partner cheating than get caught cheating, because I'm not gonna be cheating. So I guess I don't know. That's a tough one, man. I don't know. I guess catch the partner cheating. Most people would rather. Of course, my guess is most people would just rather not get caught cheating as opposed to. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Okay. Would you rather have fought in the Civil War or have fought in the Revolutionary War? This is assuming you know your United States history. You must have an active role. No drummers. Of the two, I would rather have fought in the Revolutionary War, because the Civil War, look, we're in the United States especially, we're in the middle of a civil war, whether people admit it or not. The difference is, at this point, there's not been gunfire over it per se. Some would argue that actually, there's even gunfire already involved. But the U.S. is already in the middle of another civil war going on. At least at this point, it's major divisions among multiple different lines. The original Civil War was all about slavery and slave ownerships and states' rights. And don't let anyone ever tell you different. That's exactly what it's about. Anyone else telling you something different, to borrow a line, is trying to sell you something. But for me, I would rather have fought in the Revolutionary War, because that was the United States taking a stand and making a break from its motherland from England and saying, we are our own country, we're going to do our own thing. So I think I would have much rather fought in the Revolutionary War than the Civil War. And besides that, frankly, at least from what I learned from history, fighting in the Revolutionary War would be a whole lot easier. Of course, that's easier for me to say now because I know what I know. But, where you had British troops in a line and Americans running all over the place and just, blowing up their lines, how hard could that be? So we'll do that. I don't know. Okay. Would you rather be the last human left on Earth or be dead? Oh, well, all right. The rest of the population is gone. The world is not destroyed, but you have no hope of reviving the human race. It's just you and the wildlife. Well, for me, I would rather be the last human left on Earth. And there are several reasons, because even if I were the last human left on Earth, eventually I would be dead. So I'm going to end up dead one way or another. Why not be the last human on Earth? And at that point, if I were the absolute last human on Earth, I mean, you could, for the time you were alive, you could literally do anything you wanted that you were capable of doing. As much as I would love to say, hey, I would fly to England, I would fly to Rome, I don't know how to fly, so I probably wouldn't try those things. Then again, I'm the last human on Earth. What's to stop me from grabbing a plane and giving it ye old college try? I don't know. I would rather, of the two, I would rather be the last human left on Earth until I wasn't anymore. I don't know. In a weird sort of way, it would be really strange and kind of eerie, and I'm sure at times very lonely, but by the same token, I don't know. It could also be very interesting to be the absolute last human on Earth. Things would still continue to run for a very long time, even without human intervention. Yes, eventually things like power plants and therefore electricity and gas supplies and all that kind of stuff would eventually run out without human intervention. And there would be actually an ultimate... there would ultimately be a catastrophic breakdown in nuclear power plants and nuclear reactors that would be devastatingly catastrophic. But that would take time. I don't know how much time. I don't know. But even if it took several months or several years, that's still a couple of years where you get to kind of, run amok and do what you want to do. So I would rather be the last human left on Earth. It's almost a 50-50 split. That's interesting. I don't know. Okay. Well, would you rather have free tickets to the Super Bowl for life or get $20,000 to never watch NFL games again? This is so appropriate for today's atmosphere with the NFL and the protesting and people hating the NFL and people loving the NFL and all that stuff. So, if I had to pick between the two, the little subtext, by the way, says you cannot sell or exchange the tickets and you cannot listen to games on the radio. So basically, you would never take part in an NFL game again, or you could have free tickets to the Super Bowl for the rest of your life. My issue with the free tickets to the Super Bowl is the Super Bowl is in different places every year. So I'm assuming I would still have to come up with being able to pay for getting to the Super Bowl, hotels and travel and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, that's going to cost me, even if the tickets are free. But $20,000 to never watch NFL games again, I'll be honest, in the scheme of things, 20 grand is not a lot of money to get paid not to do something. Now, if they were going to pay, I don't know, $500,000 or $1 million to never watch an NFL game again, yeah, sign me up. Have free tickets to the Super Bowl for life, I would do that. I would take the tickets. Yeah, of course, many people are on the opposite side of that coin, but I don't care. The NFL and the players and the owners and all that stuff, the big money machine that it is, it's no different than any other corporation. So you could substitute anything in here you wanted. Would you rather have I don't know, pick a free iPhone every year for the rest of your life, or get $20,000 to never own an iPhone? Would you, and it could be whatever it has, whatever the implications might be. You could substitute in here whatever you wanted. I'm just not a big, I'm not a big boycott kind of person. There are very few things that I will outright stand up and say I will never buy from that company again. I will never use that product again. It's just the way I am. I don't know. If here's an example. So you have certain individuals. Let's just take, for example, Michael Jackson. Okay, so would you, I don't know, have access to? And I don't even know because he's dead now, so it's a little weird here. But you take a controversial topic, and let's just say, for the sake of argument, Michael Jackson was still alive. Then, do you continue to buy? Well, even now, even now he's not alive. Do you continue to buy Michael Jackson albums if you're a Michael Jackson fan, or do you quit buying albums and burn if you have records or cassettes, or delete all of the music or what have you, because of the things that have been discovered about him? He had child porn supposedly on the computer in his house when they went through his house looking at stuff. So, do you separate the person and the individual from the craft that they were a master of, or do you not separate that and you keep that together? To me, that's very similar to what's going on with the Super Bowl and in the NFL. Is the NFL bigger than the players and the protests and the stuff going on, or are they completely intertwined and you have to take the sum of the whole? That's ultimately what it boils down to, at least in the space between my ears. So there you go. All right, let's do another one here. Would you rather be able to freeze time for 1 hour every 24 hours, or be able to replicate one thing per day that disappears after 24 hours? Okay, be able to freeze time for an hour. I don't understand the application of these. So if I can freeze time for an hour, I guess presumably I can still walk around even though time is frozen. Does everybody walk around while time is frozen for an hour? I don't know what's happening. I don't have context to know what's going on. And then be able to replicate one thing per day that disappears after 24 hours. So here's the question about that. So if I could replicate, just for the sake of argument, I could replicate a stack of money that's worth $10,000. So I can replicate that $10,000. All right, but it's going to disappear in 24 hours. So that's fine. I replicate the $10,000, and I go and I buy something. I don't know, whatever it is. Does whatever I bought disappear because it was bought with that replicated money? Or does the money that I replicated disappear, and so therefore whoever I bought it from, all of a sudden they're $10,000 short in their account? I don't know how this works. It's a very complicated system we have here. So, and I'm probably way overthinking it. So just for the sake of argument, I'm going to say that I would like to be able to freeze time for an hour. I have no idea what I would do with that, but I'm going to go with freezing time, because why not? There you go. Most people would like to freeze time. Probably just as confused about the whole thing as I am. All right, one more. Let's just do one more here. Would I rather be slapped full force by a UFC fighter, or forced to lick a dog turd? Wow. Okay. I'll be honest. First of all, neither one is appealing in any regard. But being slapped full force by a UFC fighter could land you in the hospital, in a wheelchair, in the grave. You're talking full force by one of these guys. They're not messing around. You're getting slapped. Your head's going to be, yikes. The other side of that is, now it just says to lick a dog turd. Now, as disgusting as that would be, it doesn't say, a big lick. Can I just, do a quick little, and there you go. I licked it. Oh, thanks. See ya. You know what I'm saying? I'm going with the dog turd because I think that could be over quickly, and yes, it would be nasty, but it would be over with, at least theoretically, no long-term effects. Getting slapped full force by a UFC fighter, that could have life-changing effects. I'm gonna go with the dog. Most people are not thinking this through. That's what I think. That's what I think's happening. I don't know. You let me know. Which would you rather? Would you rather be slapped full force by a UFC fighter or forced to lick a dog turd? Would you rather be able to freeze time for an hour every 24 hours or be able to replicate one thing per day that disappears after 24 hours? Have free tickets to the Super Bowl for life or get paid $20,000 to never watch NFL games again? Be the last human on Earth or be dead instead? Fight in the Civil War, fight in the Revolutionary War, get caught cheating, get your partner cheating. Which one of those would you rather do in each of the sets? Let me know down in the comment section. What are your thoughts about the things that we talked about? Let me know those too. And in addition to that, of course, as always, any questions, problems, suggestions, horror stories, down in the comment section below. And thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you're enjoying the Would You Rather Wednesdays, and we'll see you next Wednesday for another edition of Would You Rather. Take care, everyone.